you in the next clip.
Hey, welcome back to Royal Swag Auto. And as y'all can see, I already took off the intake manifold. Remember, the bottom half of the intake manifold, you want to make sure you cover it up. I already took off the thermostat housing. The fuel rail is right here. It's going to be two 13mm bolts that we're going to take out. And as soon as we'll take it out, I'll show you the rest. Alright, here are the fuel injectors, the old ones. So when you're taking it out, there's gonna be these red tabs connected to it. These are the harness. Take a flathead screwdriver and pop that up, and then just squeeze right here in the middle on the bottom of that red tab. Squeeze it and pull it up gently. This is the whole fuel rail. So to take this off, they say to put a screwdriver right here and kind of break that clip off and kind of pull it out. So that's what we're going to try to do, not unless there is a so we're going to take these old fuel injectors off, and we're going to install the 1025 fuel injectors. The old ones are out. Be careful. That's why you got to cover this up. Fuel is coming out of there. Make sure you don't get nothing in the bottom of your intake manifold. Nothing. So these are the old fuel injectors. And we're going to put in the new fuel injectors. I should let you know, these are locking tabs. These are the tabs to lock your fuel injectors onto the fuel rail. So do not throw these away. Do not lose these. Do not break them. Gently pry it out with a flathead screwdriver. Gently pry it out with the flathead screwdriver. Do not break this. This is the locking tab to lock your fuel injectors to your fuel rail. Before you put the new fuel injectors on, to remove the intake manifold, it's going to be 8mm socket you're going to need, right? And it's going to be 5 8mm bulbs to remove the intake manifold, which you see right there. And then of course, you're gonna need a pliers to remove that annoying hose clamp. It's not the type of hose clamp. You might have the hose clamp where you just got to use your screwdriver and unscrew it. I prefer those rather than the one that's already on here. The one that's on here, you got to use pliers to kind of squeeze it down together and in order to pull it out. So once you do that, it's going to be a 10mm socket. If I'm correct, to remove there's two 10mm bulbs that is holding down the thermostat housing, okay, which is right there. So there's two 10mm bulbs holding that down. So you take that out. Once you take, I used a bungee cord to kind of hook it up, into one of the holes, the screw holes that's on the manifold itself, and then I kind of mount the other end of the jumper cables to the hood latch up there on the hood somewhere, make sure it's secure. And then you're gonna see the rail, which I showed you in the previous video, in the previous clip. Yeah. So to remove that rail, there's going to be two 13mm bolts. Do not lose those bolts, not unless you have extra. If you have extra 13 millimeter bolts, short 13 millimeter bolts, then okay, but still, try not to lose them. So after you remove those two 10 millimeter bolts, two 13 millimeter bolts, I'm sorry, it's 10 millimeter bolts for the thermostat housing, 8 millimeter bolts for the intake manifold, and 13 millimeter bulb or socket. You need to use a 13 millimeter socket to take out the both of the bolts that's holding down the fuel rail. Then you're going to use a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and you're going to pry out slowly and gently. I know I said it before, but please, these little clips right here, you're going to pry it out gently and slowly. Do not break them. I was watching a video where the guy said, oh, just break this tab off, and then no, that is wrong. You do not break the tab off, okay? Because this is the tab that's going to lock your fuel injector onto your rail. And you're also going to need a bunch of rags to put over your bottom intake manifold, the bottom half of your intake manifold. All right, so nothing gets in there. All right, now we're going to install the brand new 1025 cc's fuel injectors. I am happy. I'm excited. And of course, after this, I have to reinstall my flash tune that I ordered from Thornton Performance Tuning. All right. Before I put it on, before I put the new fuel injectors on, let's compare. So the hole for the small one, for the old one, as y'all can see, is kind of small. But then the hole for the new one, as y'all can see, I'm trying to allow y'all to see it good. So the old one, the hole is kind of small. Is it better in this light? The hole is kind of small in this one. This one, sorry, trying to get this one, the hole is a little bigger. More fuel, more air equals what? More power. More power, baby. All right. So now the old and the new one. So now let's install the new one. All right. The 1025 cc's fuel injectors are installed. You want to make sure you push these tabs back in. You do not have to take this off. There's a guy who did a video on this who said you got to take this off. No, not really. So just make sure you get them all back in and push that red tab down to lock them. I'm missing one of my clips. It fell somewhere. Don't know where it went to. But if I find it, and I'll put it back on. If not, then I should be good. Alright. So now we're going to install them back in this place and put the two 10mm, 13mm bolts back on. Alright, now we got the new fuel injectors installed. Now we're going to put everything back together. Remember, two 13mm bolts for the fuel injector rail, 5 8mm for the top intake manifold, and two 10mm for the thermostat housing. Alright, now that everything is back on, well, except for the cold air intake, the intake manifold is back on, the thermostat housing is back on, fuel, rail, and injectors are installed. Alrighty, so now before we finish up, we're going to install the heat shield wrap on both of these cold air intake pipes. And then we're also going to install the heat shield itself. You know what I'm saying? Alright, let's get to it. Alright, fuel injector is in. I put another layer, a few more layers of heat shield wrap on my cold air intake. It's not pretty, it's not neat and stuff, but I'm not caring about the neatness right now, you know. I just want it to be functional and to lower the temperature of the, you know, amount of air that comes into the engine. And then we have the red cold air intake, heat shield. Yep. So here we go. Easy to install. This was the easy part. Doing the fuel injectors was easy as well. You know, just have to take a couple of things out. But not too bad. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. So, I need to put my tune in, don't I? I need to erase this code, because there's a code that's popping up saying emissions leak, you know, the evap leak, slow leak. But I found the culprit, and the culprit was the canister, the evap canister, no, the evap purge valve. So the evap purge valve, there was two tubes, or hoses, or, you know, whatever you call it. It was loose. You know, the harness was still connected, but the two hoses was kind of loose. So I had to go back in there and kind of, you know, adjust it and put the hoses back in, and then adjust it to where, you know, it won't fall off again, you know, make sure it's secure. So now I'm going to erase this code, and then I'm going to reinstall my my Thornton performance chip. You know, I'm going to retune the computer. Hey, so I forgot to shoot a outro video. Yeah, so everything was successful, kind of, sort of. What ended up happening was, after I put everything back together, and I tried to start the car, even with my Thornton chip tuning on it, I tried to start the car, and I guess the 1025 fuel injectors was spraying out maybe too much fuel, and the computer, and, you know, couldn't comprehend or something. So what I ended up have to do, I had to take the new ones out, the new fuel injectors out, and I had to put the old ones back in order for the car to crank up. So it seems that the 1025 cc's fuel injector, it seems I'm also gonna need that cob tuning. So there's a cob tuning that where you can manually tune your ECU or tune your computer. You can manually tune it, okay? Because with the Thornton chip tuning, it's a flash tune, which means it's pre-tuned. All you got to do is plug it up and drive 50 miles, 150 miles, whatever the case is. So it's pre-tuned. So it seemed like this my pre-tuned tuner from Thornton is not working too well with the new 1025 cc fuel injectors, which it's okay, because I'm gonna get the cob tuning. Okay, don't know how much it costs yet, but I'm gonna get the cob tuning, and I'm going to learn how to manually Okay, instead of it being flash tuned, because it's not flash tuned. With Cobb, you have to manually tune your ECU. With Thornton chip and Innovation Performance chip and all these other chips, they already pre-tuned. Okay, well there's a lot of chips out there that's it's a scam. It ain't. But Thornton Performance chip, it works. It's custom to your car. But it seems with these new fuel injectors, I'm going to need the Cobb tuning to manually tune my ECU for it to flow properly, to tell the computer that, hey, these new fuel injectors, this is the correct amount of fuel, so start the car, crank the car up, like. So yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. And once I do that, once I get the cop tuning and learn how to manually tune the ECU, then I will, then I'll take the old ones back out. I'll redo the whole steps of everything I did that y'all seen in this video. I'll take the old ones back out. I'll put the new ones in. And before I crank the car up, I'll put it on the on position. I'll plug in the cob and then the cob tuning, and then I will manually tune the ECU as soon as I learn how to. And as soon as I get the cob tuning device and learn how to use it, then I'll do that. Then I'll put the new fuel injectors in. So don't think that I threw the new ones out because they wasn't starting my car up. It wasn't allowing the car to crank up. Don't think I throw them out. I did not throw them out. I paid too much money for those. Too much money, okay, for the 1025 cc fuel injectors, which is going to increase my horsepower. By how much? I don't know. But as soon as it does, we'll do another dyno day and we'll find out together. Okay? So thank you everyone for tuning in to this video on how to change slash install fuel injectors on a PT Cruiser. Alright. Um, on most models it should be the same process. In most models, mine's a '07, so if you got a '07, I think it's a '07 to 10 to 2010, or a '06. I think it starts from '06 or '05, one of them. But it's a non-turbocharged. So my PT is a non-turbocharged, but it's a sports edition. Okay, I know I never heard of it in my life before until I went on, I think it was Kelly Blue Book or something, and I put the VIN number in, and then boom, it popped up. 2007 Chrysler PT Cruiser Limited Sport. I'm like, Limited Sport? Okay. So it ain't turbocharged, but it's the sport edition of Chrysler PT Cruiser. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you have not subscribed already, so you can be the first, the very first to get notified every time I drop a video, okay? No matter what video it may be, okay? Just do that. And don't forget, February 3rd and February 4th and February 5th in Birmingham, Alabama, there's going to be it's the O'Reilly's World of Wheels car show down at the BJCC in Coliseum or something. It's on one of my I think one of my other videos. I think it's the previous one or the one before that one. So yeah, so check that out, get that information, buy your tickets. It's only $17. I'm gonna be there on that Saturday. Won't be able to make it that Friday, but I'll be there that Saturday. So bring your friends out, bring your family out, just come out and have some fun. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be lit. Know what I'm saying? All right. Well, till next time.